to DestinationFreedom.org. And you may be watching this from YouTube or Facebook. Glad you're on. Be sure to like and subscribe if that's those things that you do. That really helps our algorithms. And listen, if there's anybody that needs their algorithm really uh, improved, it's me, okay? Because I'm definitely lacking in that. But anyway, so yeah, you'll be helping if you do that. I noticed, or at least from my perspective, it looks like the camera image is really grainy. So that's the camera that's on the laptop or on the computer right now. It's our intention for the new year to uh, get a new studio camera. So hopefully that'll work out and we'll have nice, clean images. But you're not here to look at anything. You're probably doing other things while you're listening. So I'm glad you're in. Tonight, we'll talk about, I'll talk about some current events and things that are going on um, and how that may relate to state citizenship and all that. And I'll give some perspective on that. And also, we'll talk about what's coming up, things like that, some of the changes, things that are happening in Destination Freedom. Here at the office I cannot believe we're wrapping up. We're approaching the end of the first year. This has been really an excellent finish for the year just because of the help I got. So that by itself is hugely. So Anna and Michael are helped me in so much to move things ahead and forward. So we're always tweaking that, and I'm thankful. So yeah, we may we'll get into some Q&A. I want to make sure that I catch everybody's questions and all that. Let's see. Let's talk about some things coming up. One of the things that is not coming up due to lack of attendance was the Hawaii class. Part of that is usually we don't pick a location or that I'm going to go to and then endeavor to enroll in it. That's not usually the way it happens. Usually there's a need and there's already people that are ready to take a class or do an event, and so therefore we just make it available for anybody else that wants to be a part of that. And so that didn't happen this time. So we at some point we may do an event in Hawaii, but that would be a unique thing. So I would say the next time, now we have state citizenship class on the website at DestinationFreedom.org. In the top, in the center, it says classes or register for classes, and you click down under class registration, and you can sign up and see the state citizenship class. That's a 6-hour class. It's a foundational one. In that class, I'm going to show you that who has an income tax liability. We're going to look at it right from the tax code. It's going to say exactly what that is. And I'm going to show you in that class that the income tax, you wouldn't imagine this, but the income tax is constitutional. The Constitution has empowered the federal government to do exactly what it's doing. I would have never thought I'd feel this way either, but imagine that I would tell you that most everything the federal government does and is doing is constitutional. And let me exclude some of that. Some of that is, creating the Federal Reserve Act was pretty criminal. And we're looking at the collapse of the dollar, thanks to all those parties involved with that. So, and of course, the federal government can do all those things in its jurisdiction. So that's a huge part of how the federal government functions, is based in Article 1, Section 8, Clause 17, that exclusive legislative authority that the federal government has in their jurisdiction. And another area of subject matter jurisdiction is the federal citizen. That is, that 14th Amendment citizen is subject to the jurisdiction thereof. That's what it says, and that's what it means. And that's why the federal government can do what it does, because it manages its citizens. That's a statutory citizenship. And so that's all part of how the federal government functions. And of course, when you're spitting out money hand over fist, and that the states can't balance their budgets without the federal government borrowing money so that they can extend money or credit to these states in order for them to balance budgets is just pure funkiness. Um, okay, let me just see if let me see if I can talk closer to the microphone. Oh, there you go. Hopefully my mic won't come apart. So anyway, so I'll drop it down just a tiny bit. There we go. That'll be. So hopefully that is clear to you. If it's too loud, then turn your speakers down. um, so yeah, you can take that state citizenship class. I'll show you, who has the tax liability, and it's a choice for you. Okay. There are a lot of people that believe that the income tax is voluntary. The way the IRS believes it's voluntary is that you volunteer to fill out your own stupid forms, and you volunteer to lie every time. Listen, you lie every time you fill out a 1040 form. You know why? Because you're swearing under penalty of perjury that it's true, correct, and complete. What the hell do you know about tax law? Not a thing. And so you're signing under penalty of perjury. Yeah, this is true, correct, and complete. And you can hold that against me in a court of law. And they do. So, I mean, if the IRS was honest and they wanted to really be a loving organization, which we don't have that expectation, but if they were, wouldn't it be much better if the IRS would say, hey, yeah, we know everything you're doing because we track everything we're doing. Here's your bill because this is how much you made, and we'll allow this, or, we're going to give you all the write-offs, but we're going to tax the crap out of you, and here's your bill. If that happened, nobody would pay the bill, and of course they'd be taking it on the chin. But that's why they ended up doing one of the greatest things they ever did was withholding to pay the tax before you owe it. And then even to penalize you if you don't pay in advance fast enough. How maddening is that? And, in American people, we just don't care. We don't care. Frederick Douglass says, find out what people will submit to, and you'll have found the exact amount of injustice and wrong which will be imposed upon them. And these will continue until they're resisted with either words or blows, or with both. The limits of tyrants are prescribed by the endurance in those in whom they oppress. Now, that says, how's your oppression level? Is it really high? I can pretty much take anything. Yep, that's pretty much the American people. Land free, home brave. Yeah, America's the greatest country. We have a clue about what liberty and freedom is all about. Liberty and freedom, in our opinion, is what's on TV, and can I stream my games and do all the other crap that keeps me intoxicated into the cyber world. So it's pretty sad, but hey, that's where we are today. But there's a reckoning coming at some point, and it may not be very comfortable for folks. So I always encourage you to build your freedom, which is on the inside. You have to do that work, or otherwise you're enslaved already. You have to build your freedom based on truth. So, you shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. That's how it works. And then you can determine where your liberties are being violated. Because without really knowing about your freedom, I don't think you'll get it. There's a great publication, and we'll put it on there. There's a PDF, Michael, on the book End of All Evil. You can do a Google on it. It'll come up as a Google document or something. But one of the best reads I've ever read, and Michael, I saw on eBay the other day, there were 3 books of End of All Evil. I bought them all. You bought them all? I did.
Why were they selling them?
I have no idea, but it was definitely expensive. Yeah, so that was thanks, Alma. And yeah, that is one of the best reads I've ever read, called End of All Evil by Jeremy Locke. When you take the state citizenship class, we have a PDF. We'll send you a copy of that, or it's part of the class. I just want everybody to get that sentiment. It's excellent. Let's see. No, about to say short out. Oh, well, we probably should do that as a campaign because we'll probably get more out there rather than on this here. Because, but I agree. I thought we had done that, and I thought some flushed up, but that's a great idea. We definitely should follow up on that. One of the things that we do with our clients, or we make available, this is both in the passport workshop and the full passport process that we do. And then after we have the client gets their passport booking card, then we do a Freedom of Information Act request or a FOIA request in which we get certified copies of their passport file signed by the Secretary of the United States. So those are documents that can be used in court if necessary, and so we do that. So sometimes clients will do the passport workshop. They'll get their passport booking card, but they won't complete the process. And I can't imagine how many people that have done the workshop probably haven't finished up and done the FOIA.
A lot of people have done a full process. I haven't gotten it.
Well, we should be able to go through our lists and be able to check that out. Um, so anyway, so that's what I was talking about, the Hawaii class that we've put that off right now. The next event to come up is I'll tell you. I don't know if I should say. We're working on some very exciting things, both in California and in Montana, and with respect to a particular client's driver's license, stuff like that. So we're in some type of litigation with that, and it's pretty much confounded those people in California. That's interesting. The court has asked our client for documents. Well, he submit them already in physical paperwork sent to the court. They came by FedEx or something like that. Then they said, we didn't get them, when FedEx says, yes, they did get them. And then he confirmed with the clerk that they got them, and they asked if he would email them over. So we went ahead and emailed them over. And then we get into court, and the judge says he hasn't got them. And so like, well, come back later and we'll see if we can get them. He's like, so they pushed out the date because he sent them another time by email. There had been the second email and the proof that they had received them. And then last night, I think it was last night. Yeah, Tuesday. Yeah, last night, we were in this court proceeding, this traffic court proceeding for like over 2 hours online waiting. It was funny. I came into the room, in the court. Like you're part of the court proceeding on Zoom. And so my name was up there as Christopher. That's how I came in. And so the host in the court adds the word Klein after my name, like I'm Christopher Klein. And so I'm like, well, that's weird because I saw that. So now, and I went to check my personal thing on the Zoom call and it has me as Christopher Klein. I'm thinking like, what the heck's going on here? So anyway, when they get to Christopher Klein's case, they open up my video and I'm on there. I'm standing in front of the court and and then there's a Christopher Klein that's in the courtroom sitting at will the real Christopher Klein please stand up? So it's like, what I wanted to do was just answer. I didn't know the guy was sitting right there in front of the judge, but I wanted to answer. It's like, yeah, I'm really pretty ticked off about this whole proceeding here. And I have a few thoughts on the whole process. It's like, Mr. Klein, settle down. Yeah, that's what I'm having problems with at the beginning here. My name's not Klein. So I gave my name Gronsky. So they edited my name. And so I was no longer, and then they cut off my video. And so I couldn't say, they said, well, who are you? And what are you doing? I said, well, I'm counsel, assistance of counsel for my client. He says, are you an attorney? I was like, no, I didn't say I was an attorney. I said I was counsel. He said, well, we make that as anonymous. It was like, well, I'm observing the court proceeding today and I'll be assisting him. So that's what I'm doing. He's like, okay, that's fine. So that's crazy. So anyway, that's exciting. So that's California, but we're actually pursuing, there's a court case coming in Montana where we have to choose a jury. So we're really going to deal with that. My client will not be able to seat a jury of his peers if they don't realize what peers are. And so the statutory federal citizen, the 14th Amendment citizen, is not a peer. And so if the Constitution, if the federal government has to abide by the Constitution for us, then the citizen that's subject to the jurisdiction is not the same type of citizen, the citizen of the states. And so we're going to determine that that we cannot convene a jury if the juror members can prove that they're not 14th Amendment federal citizens, which my client is proving by his passport documents that he's not a 14th Amendment citizen. I think it'll be kind of unique. So now I'm going to be out there for that. So that'll be fun to go. We should do that. Oh, then you have to be my sidekick. Well, maybe we'll have to have you go along. You might have to hold down the fort. No, you're going to be traveling at some point too.
I never get to go with you guys.
Well, you're going to Acapulco. Hey, we're the team here is going to be in Acapulco, and that's exciting. That, by the way, is coming up in February. The 16th through like the 22nd or something is the conference. And so I think it starts on the 17th, but there's a party the night before. So if you come for that, that'll be great. So we'll be in Acapulco at that time. We'll be staying in nice. Did you see the pictures of the bed and breakfast?
No, I know it got sent to me, but I couldn't open it.
Really? What's that all about? You too? You saw a pic. Well, you saw. Help me pick up. Well, we'll show you before you head out of here tonight. We'll get you a copy of those. It's really nice because this one is on the water. It's gonna be, yeah. Oh yeah. I haven't talked about. Oh no, I'm getting that. Anyway, so that's coming up in February. Holy moly, the producer's really tough over there. He's holding down, making sure that we stay on point. I've got this timed out to a microcosm of efficient data going out right now. And are there any questions? No questions. Is the volume any better now? Oh, someone's asking that. Okay. Okay. Well, that's good. I'm glad that you can hear all right. So that's February, and then April. Oh shoot. We were looking at when we're coming back in April, but we have a date in Lieberland in April. Cannot forget that. Wow. So we may have to. Wow, I have to look at those dates if we're going to make that. That'll be tough. I'll have to see. But anyway, that's coming up in April. We're looking to be in Lieberland. That's going to be their 10th anniversary, so we're looking forward to that and being a part of that project. Speaking of that, make a note of following up with Lieberland people. I got to complete my citizenship process with them, so that's coming up. So we're talking about current events and about things coming up, and one significant major event is that Bitcoin did go over. I think it was last week. Did go over the $100,000 mark, which is excellent. Listen, I was posting on Facebook back and letting people know that back when Bitcoin was $4,000, if you'd have spent $4,000, that was like in 2019 or maybe somewhere in that time. If you'd have taken your $4,000, your $4,000 would be $100,000 today. That's what it would have been. And of course, if you had more dropped out there. Okay. Wow. A new recording track was created. Okay. Can you see that, Michael? Anyway, I don't know if that, and you guys seen that, but anyway, just a glitch in the matrix, right? So anyway, that was that. What was I just talking about? Was the crypto stuff, right? So it went over $100,000. Now that's not the end of it. And if you if you're looking to get into the crypto space, you want to ground level. There's some key things with respect to that I would urge people to understand. One is cryptocurrency is not going away, and all cryptocurrency is not the same. Okay, And there are people that that um, believe that um, that the government created crypto and this is all designed to. I mean, look, government stinks enough as it is. I mean, they don't need to stink more. And look, they have their cryptocurrency. XRP is one of them. Um, and then anything that's any stable coin. Okay, listen. Here's a lesson for you of life. Okay, whenever the Congress wants to pass some crap bill, they give it a glorious name. The glorious name bill, which is crap, like the USA Patriot Act, is nothing patriotic about it. It's crap. It's communism, all that. And so, when in the crypto space, when they created cryptos that are like stable coins, anything that's tied to the dollar is the opposite of stable. They call it stable coin because it's not stable because it's tied to the dollar. Will they do well? Yes, they do well, and then they crap the bed. So it's not a good thing. And but there are people that are in the crypto space that despise government as much as you. Okay, and so the idea of here's the value, the inherent value to do a transaction without a government or the bank in between is uh, has huge value. And then, of course, I and others like me are interested in freedom. And so we tend to favor what they call privacy coins, ones that have better security, aren't tracked and all that. Bitcoin is wonderful, okay, because it has a public ledger, a blockchain that can be viewed by everyone. Okay, all Bitcoin transactions are easily traced. So Bitcoin is excellent, in my humble opinion, for governments and corporations and entities that have to have full disclosure in everything they do. Let them trade and use Bitcoin because that is visible and you can't hide the crap. So if everything the military industrial complex did was on the Bitcoin, was using Bitcoin, we get to track and see where every bit of it goes, no matter what. That's a good thing. The reason that it was created, um, was it Satoshi? I remember the Naga. To, Nikoshi. Well, how do we say that again? Niko, what did you say? Oh, you didn't say it. Anyway, Satoshi. There's an N name. I'm spacing it. It's anyway. Someone will say it. Anyway, but anyway, it was created because they didn't like fractional reserve lending, and that you can only that the exact amount of money can be spent once or it would be possessed by someone. You're not holding 10% of your assets and you're lending out 90%, and then you're going to take interest in on that. That scam is going to come. That bubble, that financial scam bubble is going to fail. And a lot of people think that Bitcoin was a bubble. It's laughable if you study bubbles, okay? And I don't mean the bubbles you blow. Okay, these are bubbles that suck. Anyway, so the idea is if you check them all out, every one of them had banking involved, and that's where if you want to know the number one currency that's used on the planet that has corruption, just look at the dollar. Worldwide, nothing. More criminal activities are in the dollar than anything. So every time they want to say that cryptocurrency is corrupt, and let me tell you something, there are plenty of cryptocurrencies that are pump and dumps. There's lots of scam out there, no doubt. So use your own best discretion when getting into the space. Know somebody, and that's cool. Hey, all right, look at some hellos from Miami. Boy, it must be nice to be nice and warm down there. Going to be down there in the spring or late winter here. So that's so with respect to the crypto, I was talking about some of the basic things that I think are important in the crypto. One is don't connect your identity with cryptocurrency. Keep it separate from who you are so that keeps your money cash, if you will, and not trackable to you. That's an important thing that people don't really care about, their privacy. But privacy is going to be a premium in the future. So, mark my words, you'll see how how expensive your privacy can be, or it can be lucrative for certainly corporations and stuff like that. So privacy is a big deal. Here's another bit of information. If you have any cryptocurrency, including Bitcoin, and you have it on an exchange, okay, that means it's not your Bitcoin. That means they're promising you that Bitcoin and you're on that exchange. Now, you may have come on that exchange by dealing with KYC and identifying yourself for tax purposes. That's not a good thing, okay? And so those, if you're a client of ours, our alignment workshop deals with those kind of things where you have to determine whether you have those liabilities or have to fill out those forms. So anyway, that's another thing. So hear me carefully. If you have crypto, the only reason to have crypto on an exchange is to do a transaction and then to get off the exchange. You don't want to leave your crypto on exchange because crypto exchanges are not as secure as your own crypto wallet. Okay. So when you have a wallet and you have a cryptocurrency on that or in that wallet, then that wallet has a number of words, could be 12, could be 24 words in a particular order. That is your private keys. If you don't have those private keys, it's not your crypto. Okay. So it's important for you to select a wallet that's secure, that you understand, that you can use. And my wife has a crypto class, a foundational crypto class that she's recording right now, is going to be making that available pretty soon. But then, you have your private wallet that you control, and your wallet isn't on any device. It's just your portion of that crypto is in your digital wallet, if you will. And listen, people are concerned about losing it. How you handle your credit card, your bank card at a restaurant will tell you don't really care about encryption or securing yourself. Anybody that holds your card in their fingertips out of your sight could take your number, your issue date, on there, the date on there, the little date, the number at the back, and your name. They got all the data it takes for them to do whatever transaction they want. And we just hand that card off at the waiter or the waitress in any restaurant that we're ever in. That's your banking information. Imagine that. But crypto is far better than that, okay? And so you just want to make sure that you stay secure. And then people, of course, will talk about, well, what cryptos do you recommend? And look, every single crypto has different community around it, its purposes. It has its own white book that tells you, how it's set up. There's technicals, and you may not know all those technicals, which is very common, that you can enjoy the benefits of a certain field without actually knowing how it works. Like you can know how to use a television, and you can receive internet and all that, and really not know technically how internet works and how your TV hooks up to the cable or some satellite dish or something. You don't have to know how all that works in order to benefit or utilize the technology. Okay. But you can know how to use it properly and how to be and stay secure. That's an important thing. And in my humble opinion, I know of no other category of financial life that you can invest such a small amount and get a huge return. It is available to take a small amount of money and really end up developing millions of dollars for yourself in relatively quick amount of time, depending on how much you want to leverage or how committed you are to the process. So I think it's a wonderful thing for people. And let me tell you, that cryptocurrency, that would include Bitcoin, but cryptocurrency in general has not had world adoption yet. A very small portion of people, including very, very wealthy organizations, are in the crypto space right now. And so it doesn't take, listen to me carefully here, it doesn't take for you to own a certain amount of Bitcoin that you could end up being set for life just with a very small amount of Bitcoin. And Bitcoin's not even the best investment. Okay. It's going to give a return, but there are other cryptos that are worth a lot less that will move a lot more than Bitcoin. And listen, Bitcoin, I love its volatility. A lot of people don't like it financially, the volatility, but I love the movement. Bitcoin can drop $10,000, $20,000 in a day or within a week, any that kind of movement. And so when people know how it behaves, it's a great way for them to make money just because it has movement. When I used to trade currencies, forex trading, um, I love the yen, the Japanese yen. The yen to the dollar, the yen to the euro, they were volatile, and I always could guarantee that it would have movement, and that was exciting. See, slow is steady, but you can't always determine how it's going to break into its trend. So anyway, I'm a big fan of the crypto space. I was in the bank today, and I was getting a withdrawal, and I asked the lady, I said, can I, she says, how would you like that? I said, could I get it in Bitcoin? And she laughed. She says, you're the second person that asked me that. I'm like, all right, that's a good trend. Two starts a trend. Actually, it takes at least three to make a trend. But anyway, it's exciting. I always do that. I always ask about, whether someone's going to take Bitcoin or not. So that's kind of cool. And so cryptocurrency is a big deal. So yeah, some people are talking conservatively. Now that we've hit the 100,000, I can't say, well, it's going to hit 100,000. But here's what I can suggest. Now, this is just a little idea of this. If Bitcoin even now goes down below $100,000, the likelihood that it's going to go back up to where it was is excellent. It still is a bull market. So the idea of that is that's the kind of trading you can do whenever it's dropping down. You buy the lows and you take profit on the highs. Anyway, those are just principles. You can determine what's best for you. But glad to have you in that space, and that's kind of cool. And so what else in the crypto space that I was just thinking of? So yeah, I just want to, you can stay tuned or let us know at statecitizen@destinationfreedom.org if you have any interest in that foundational crypto class. I think we have one or two people that are already signed up for the next foundational crypto class, but you can let us know. Yeah, thanks for that, Michael. But Destination Freedom. So let's see. One of the things that usually on a Tuesday night we have our client calls, and what we do is that's a support call for clients in their processes and things that they're doing, and we're always interested in making sure that they're moving things along the way. And so that's support for them. And this week, we had some foul weather and some snow. Yeah, that's what I mean. So I ended up not making it to the office on a Tuesday, and I had that late court case. That was crazy. I just want you to know that in this traffic court case, we were in there longer. And during the time that we were waiting for that whole thing to resolve, I cooked dinner. I baked chicken, had the whole works, all that stuff, and I had it done before we were out of court. How's that for slow justice? So that was kind of funny. Yeah, it was slow cooker. But anyway, I'll let you know about how those results come. We're really looking to see how that plays out, whether they're going to dismiss the case or not. So anyway, I want to move into this next section where if you have questions about the passport process or about state citizenship and what it is, and whether it's something that's right for you, you can ask in our chat. Now, if we don't, if on the live feed we don't see your question or get it, which hopefully we will, then if you ask a question on the video after it's been recorded, we'll endeavor to see those questions and we'll point you in the right direction, or we'll get your question answered, because information is helpful for people to make choices. And so that's an exciting thing. Oh, I was gonna say, Michael, I was gonna say I talked to the gal that was the producer for that porcupine podcast. Yeah. So porcupine is a docile animal that has a fierce defense. Part of the Free State Project, their mascot is the porcupine. Anyway, So there's some podcast that it looks like I'm going to be on for that. But my hope is for this coming Pork Fest, which is going to be in June of this next year, I'm hoping to speak on the main stage there. And if not, we probably will have daily talks at our campsite there. And so if you have nothing planned for this summer and you want to come up and do a little bit of glamping or camping, glamping, you know what glamping is?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's I learned years ago about camping is that camping has nothing to do with what you're taking into the woods. So camping is about being in nature. Okay. How you camp is all up to you. The idea is that you're in nature. Okay. So whether you go camping with a buck knife or a big old 36-foot RV, both can be camping as long as you're in the woods and you're enjoying yourself in the great outdoors. So Pork Fest, that's going to come up in June. But anyway, we're going to be on a podcast with them. So that'll be kind of exciting to have a conversation about that. It'll be interesting. And then I noticed another follow-up, Michael, was I saw a post on Facebook about New Hampshire exit. And last year, maybe it was the year before, but one year, I thought it was last year. No, it had to be the year before that. Last year, New Hampshire has a secession movement called NH Exit. Texas has one. It's called Texit, Texit, Texit. And California has a significant exit there, Cal Exit. All these organizations want their state to leave the union, okay? And so I find it laughable. One of the things is I saw those three organizations were in New Hampshire. They were up in front of everybody answering questions and stuff. There was a long line of people, and not one person presented the Declaration of Independence and its principles in part of their separation, because the opening of the Declaration of Independence is the right of disassociation. You've read it before. What does it say? It says when in the course of human events it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them to another and assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and of nature's God entitle them. A decent respect to the opinions of mankind requires that they should disclose the causes for the separation, however that last bit there. Anyway, so the idea is that a separation is a right to disassociate. Okay, that's a right. There is no right of association. That's a privilege because it requires another to agree to associate with you. That's why it's always a privilege. But anyway, in that separatist movement, they were all discussing how much of the debt they were going to take with them. I was like, you guys never read the Declaration of Independence because they didn't. Some of the sentiment is in there. It's like, well, King, we're really wanting to hit the road, but we just want to make sure that whatever troubles you have and whatever money you're missing or whatever it is, we're going to be there for you, King. We're going to take our portion of the debt and we're going to manage it best we can. Oh, yeah. Well, they didn't read the thing as like and by the way, King, go fuck yourself. That's the English version of the Declaration of Independence. But it says that these states are free and independent states and that all connection to the British crown is and ought to be totally dissolved. And you know how they backed it up? By firepower in the village green. So any of these separatist movements that are all there going like, we're going to take our part of the debt with it is a crock of shit. Just ask yourself, how much of the debt did you agree to pay? Zero. These are their buddies. It's a crock of crap. Tell them take all their debt and shove it where the sun doesn't shine. That's what they should be saying. Because look, you're not going to shoot anybody until you say, I remember in the wonderful film 1776, it's a musical. It's like, and so they're editing the Declaration. It's like, are you sure that we want to offend the Parliament who has our brother? He's like, it's a revolution. We're going to have to offend somebody. Come on. I love that, because listen, it's not going to happen. And so here's what I tell the separatist movement people. It's never going to happen. It's just never going to happen. And this is the reason why it's never going to happen. Because you're never going to get your state to be even a majority of people who are not addicted to the federal government's money. The state is addicted, and so are the stinking people. They're never going to vote for anything that's going to cut off their economy. It never is going to happen. Do you understand? Until people grow up. Man, I'm telling you right now, when you leave the home and you don't have mom and dad's purse strings paying for everything, if that's the case, you haven't left home yet. Nobody's going to secede from the pedophile union until they can balance their budget on their own. Go ahead. I dare you to give me an accurate in the comments below, okay? Look up or call your state rep or whatever and find out how much of your state budget is made up of federal dollars. Find that out. I remember talking to the executive council in New Hampshire. His name is Joe Kenny. He's still on the executive council. I had got him on the phone. He's in my cell phone. And well, he's not, just his number is. But anyway, he lives somewhere in the state. Anyway, Joe Kenny. Anyway, I for some reason, it didn't impress upon me enough to remember, but it was significant that the amount of money of federal dollars they balanced our budget was either, if I can remember, the 40 or 60%. The legislature is never going to secede as long as the state itself doesn't balance its own budget. If you don't do that first, listen, you don't have to go to war with anybody. You don't have to fight or shoot anybody. If you of your own vote will balance your own budget without them. That's one way to kick the feds out of your state, is to kick out the stinking money. So that's one part of dealing with seceding from the union, okay? And the other part is balancing the budget. And the other thing is you, the individual. Now, we have a way for you to properly determine whether you have an income tax liability. So if you're part of a secession movement and you haven't taken it upon yourself to secede from the union in your own life, it's not likely you're going to get your state to do it for you so that you can just go along an easy street, and just take care of leaving the union in a peaceful way. Kind of like Brexit, just a vote. That'd be awesome. And listen, that's the way it should be. Just like at Brexit. If you haven't, and there's a video out called Brexit, you should understand, as an American should understand how Great Britain pulled out of the European Union and that the European Union didn't take them to war. Every single state has a right to disassociate, and the Declaration of Independence is that evidence of how to do it. And listen, all tyranny is forced by, a threat under pain of death. All taxes are collected under pain of death. That means that even your freedom, the price of freedom, is bloodshed. That's how you stay free, is by making sure you're free, not by anyone else's permission. So that's it. So the crown of bar is just a front. Magna Carta is a trust. All roads lead to Rome. The Magna Carta is a crock. Listen, if the Magna Carta was something important, the founding fathers would have held to it as something important. But listen, the Magna Carta, first of all, was signed by the king under duress. It's not a valid signature. And listen, the Magna Carta has been edited a number of times, and it didn't abolish here's what Magna Carta didn't do. It didn't eliminate a king. It didn't remove the nobles, and it kept things exactly the way they are. A pretense of freedom never accomplished it. Hardly a trust. And listen, you can't have a trust that isn't signed in by living trustees. And then again, if your government is part of a trust, do you trust them? Holy crap, that's a crazy idea. Anything and all that straw man nonsense always ends up with the crown and the pope. That's all baseless. No facts in any of that stuff. The woman that hypnotizes and eats children. Yeah. Oh, that's great. All right. Anyway, that's an interesting sentiment. But anyway, but you can step out of all that. You don't have to participate in any of that nonsense that government suggests. And government always, all communist governments do the same thing. 2 steps forward. Oh, we're on stepping on your toes. 1 step back. 2 steps forward. 1 step back. Always, always. And how are we doing? Still playing out. Government's expanding and growing. And people, it's available to take control of your own finances, be responsible for yourself, and eliminate your income tax liability. It's not a fight. It's not tax rebellion. It's not tax resistance. None of that. It's just you telling the truth, and it's all administrative. So that's what that is. So let's see what else. So it's no other questions on here. So well, anyway, what's the calendar? Let's see what's coming up and how the holidays playing out. Okay. Wow. So we will do our last. Hey, this is exciting. Our last broadcast of the year is going to be on the 18th of December. And then we will be done. And so the next broadcast will be on actually the 8th of January, because we won't have a call on January 1st. So yeah, so next week will be the 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Will be the last, and then our first will be on the 8th of January. And then we'll see how that plays out. And then, of course, we'll have one more client call before that. So anyway, those are coming up, and you can look for that. We have some exciting new plans that we want to have, and we're going to, our producer here is we're going to come up with a number of short videos that give us some support. And wouldn't it be great? You can keep this in your prayers. Wouldn't it be great that over the Christmas holiday, we launched the new Destination Freedom? Make a note of that we'll launch the new Destination Freedom before the first of the year. I'll put that on the prayer list. And I have the prayer website that's supposed to be completed. It's just sitting there. I'm waiting. I don't know what we're waiting for. I've got some videos to do with you. And here's another thing that's coming up. I have this paper, this interview that I had done that was published on the Dollar Vigilantes monthly magazine. But I'm looking to have my book finished by the end of January. So keep that in your prayers. It's been written. I'm in the process of editing it. And so that's where I hopefully spend more of my time, in the midst of trying to keep everything going. Thanks to our dedicated team. Dedicated. I know. We're doing great. Everybody's doing fine. It's a lot of work. It's just a small team of people. It stays pretty busy. So, but anyway, thank you for your prayers. And let me see if I think there was another message here. I just want to make sure I don't miss it. So one says, I think Jordan Maxwell's research pretty much explains the Magna Carta keeps chasing those dead ends, sons of Cain. Yeah, all that stuff is there. That's there. I don't spend a lot of time thinking about that. But anyway, thank you so much for being on tonight. And we'll catch you later. We'll catch you next week. That'll be the last one. And we'll see if you have a freedom ornament that we want to have on our freedom tree, that'll be great. That'll give us reason to have a tree. So, all right. Well, listen, thanks so much. We'll see you all later. Take care. Have a great night. uploading. Yeah, we got down to 50.